Welcome to this explainer. Let's jump right in. I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you live in this highly exclusive, gated community. We're talking an imposing, massive wall around the entire neighborhood and a dedicated security guard stationed right there at the front gate. Now, once you make it past that guard and you're finally inside, everyone just naturally assumes you belong there. You can literally walk up to any house, open any door, and just access any room. Sound a little crazy for a neighborhood? Well, surprisingly, that is exactly how most organizations have protected their computer networks for the last 30 years. But that begs the question, are you really safe inside those walls? For decades, the entire cybersecurity industry just relied on this one fundamental assumption, that inside equals safe. But today, that assumption is completely broken. Because in the real world, what happens when a hacker manages to sneak past that front guard just one time? Maybe they steal an employee's password, or they use some clever trick to slip in. Suddenly, they are inside the walls. And because the system blindly trusts everyone who's already inside, that hacker has totally free reign. They can just roam from one computer to the next entirely undetected. And the real-world cost of that broken assumption, it is absolutely staggering. This isn't just some hypothetical scenario. Back in 2021, the Colonial Pipeline, which literally supplies gas across the entire east coast of the United States, was brought to its knees. And how did they do it? Through one single compromised password. Because of that flawed inside equals safe model, the hackers enjoyed completely free movement once they breached the perimeter. The devastating result was a massive shutdown and a mind-blowing $5 million ransom paid out, all from one password. So where did we go wrong? Well, the root of this problem stems from what we in the industry call the castle-and-moat security model. Picture a medieval castle, right? You've got thick walls, a deep moat, maybe a single drawbridge. Keep the bad guys out, and everyone inside is perfectly safe. And honestly, that worked pretty well when all your employees were in one physical office and the servers were in a locked room down the hall. But look at our new reality. The cloud means your data is scattered across data centers in Virginia, Belgium, and Singapore. There is no castle anymore. And with remote work, you've got employees connecting from coffee shops and airport lounges, using Wi-Fi networks that might literally still have admin as the default password. The security perimeter hasn't just expanded, it has completely dissolved. The terrifying reality of hanging on to this outdated model is captured in one single number, 194 days. According to research from IBM, that is the average time it takes for a company to even detect that a data breach has occurred. Just let that sink in for a second. Because of the old castle-and-moat mentality, hackers are essentially living comfortably inside corporate networks, reading emails, mapping systems, just hanging out for over 6 months before anyone even realizes the front gate was breached. So we clearly need a better way. We need a security model specifically designed to solve this massive vulnerability and stop these kinds of lateral attacks cold, which brings us to the core of our explainer today. So what is Zero Trust exactly? Well, it's a total paradigm shift in how we think about digital defense. Let's dive right into its core mantra. Never trust, always verify. It's just 4 words, but it changes absolutely everything about how networks are built. Under this model, the system no longer trusts you just because you managed to log in, or just because your laptop is physically sitting inside the corporate headquarters. Whether you're the brand new intern or the CEO, the system constantly and aggressively asks you to prove who you are, what you're trying to access, and if you actually have the authorization to do it, right at that exact moment. A really great way to think about this concept is like a modern hotel key card. In the old castle model, a hotel would check your ID at the front desk, hand you a master key, and say, have fun, go anywhere. You could walk right into other guests' rooms, the kitchen, wherever. But Zero Trust is the modern hotel keycard approach. Your key only opens your specific room. Want to go to the gym? You have to scan your card again to prove you belong there. Want to enter the pool area? Scan again. By forcing verification at every single door, Zero Trust severely restricts movement and prevents a compromised key from accessing the whole building. Now, this whole concept actually rests on 3 core structural pillars. First up, verify explicitly. This means treating every single access request as if it's coming from some sketchy open internet cafe. The system checks your identity, your location, and even the health of your device before it grants access. Second is least privileged access. You are only given the absolute bare minimum access required to do your specific job and nothing more. A marketing intern simply cannot access the payroll database. Period. And third, assume breach. This is the massive mindset shift. Instead of assuming your walls will keep hackers out, you just operate under the assumption that the bad guys are already inside. To practically apply that assume breach pillar, networks use a brilliant technique called microsegmentation. Think of this like the watertight compartments in the hull of a really large ship. If the ship hits an iceberg and one section gets punctured, you seal off that compartment, the water is totally contained, and the ship doesn't sink. Microsegmentation divides a computer network into tiny, isolated pieces. So if a hacker compromises an employee's email account, they are trapped in that one tiny segment. They literally cannot spread across the network to access your customer data or financial records.
All right, Section 1, a tale of two hacks, Uber versus Google.
Let's look at a stark comparison to see how this plays out in the real world. Over on one side, we have Uber back in 2022. An 18-year-old hacker managed to completely compromise Uber's systems. And the crazy part, he didn't use some highly sophisticated nation-state code. He simply sent a fake IT message via WhatsApp to an employee, asking them to approve a login notification. Because Uber lacked strict zero-trust layers, that one single click gave the hacker the keys to the kingdom. We're talking access to cloud infrastructure, financial data, and security tools. Now contrast that with Google. After a major attack in 2009, Google spent a full decade building a massive internal zero-trust implementation that they call BeyondCorp. Google's immense success with BeyondCorp really comes down to one core philosophy. You don't get access to anything just because of where you are. You get access based on who you are. Google's system treats their own internal, highly secure corporate Wi-Fi exactly the same way it treats the public internet at a random coffee shop in Bangkok. They do not care about your location, they care about verifying your identity and your device's health. Because of this, Google successfully secures its massive global workforce without even needing a traditional VPN. Every single access request is independently verified.
Moving into Section 2, how to protect yourself.
Because here's the thing, zero trust isn't just some incredibly complex enterprise-level concept for massive tech companies. It's a personal framework you can and should apply to your own digital life right now. Here are 4 actionable steps. Number 1, and I seriously cannot stress this enough, turn on MFA or multi-factor authentication everywhere. MFA is the most basic, crucial form of personal zero trust. It tells the system, hey, don't just trust the password, verify it's actually me with a code sent to my phone. Step 2, use a password manager so every single account has a unique unbreakable lock. Step 3, verify requests. Remember that Uber hack? If someone texts you claiming to be your bank, hang up and dial the official number. Never trust unsolicited messages. And step 4, update your devices. I know those restart notifications are annoying, but that's your device ensuring its security health is up to par. And finally, Section 3, the future of security. The future of this whole architecture lies in the convergence of 2 massive tech trends. Zero trust is no longer just an option. In the US, the federal government has actually mandated these architectures for their agencies. But the real future? That's zero trust combined with artificial intelligence. Instead of just checking static rules, like, whether you typed the right password, AI will actively learn your unique behavior patterns. It's going to know that you usually log in from Toronto at 9 a.m. and access a few dozen files. If your account suddenly tries to download 5,000 files at 3 a.m. from a country you've never even visited, the AI won't just ask for a password. It will immediately recognize the anomaly and block the activity in real time. Which brings us to our final takeaway. We've spent 30 years building digital castles, just hoping the walls would hold. But the reality is that the digital perimeter is entirely gone. Zero trust acknowledges a harsh but totally necessary truth. In today's interconnected digital world, implicit trust is your biggest vulnerability. You have to secure your own digital doors. So I'm going to leave you with this final vital thought to act on today. In a world where you must verify everything, have you turned on multi-factor authentication for your most important accounts yet? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Go secure your digital life, and I'll catch you on the next one.